Summer routines live or die by how easy they are. And honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. This week, the guys are going to have to put up with us because this is about female friendship, and we have some sports sprinkled in, but you know, it's really important in this, especially this time of craziness in our world, to really rely on how close your friends can get you through, and especially female friendships. So Jim and our producer, Alex, they're going to learn something today, but hopefully you'll all come along for the ride. You'll meet 2 of my best friends in the world coming up.
That's right. This is Dawn of Sports. She's Dawn Mitchell from Fox 9. I'm Jim Suhan from TalkNorth.com and the Star Tribune. Alex Haugen is our producer today. Looking forward to this show. We are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We are sponsored by Lexus of Wayzata in Maplewood and Minnesota Masonic Charities. So entertain us, Dawn.
Oh, yes. You guys are going to learn so much about me, I'm sure. Well, joining us today in studio, we have Donna Roby Spencer. And I'm saying the maiden names because when we met, we didn't have families, we weren't married, we didn't even have careers. So Donna is here in studio. And unfortunately, Sarah Velez Hughes would be here with us, but we're not going to cuss out Delta. But Delta delayed her flight so many times she couldn't even make it here, but she's just missing a snowstorm. Sarah, thanks for joining us all the way from sunny, beautiful Florida. We hate you right now because it is snowing here as we speak. And Sarah, we have to give you a little bit of grief because, I don't know, maybe you're just staying in Florida because it's nice and sunny because it's snowing here. Did we scare you off with this Minnesota weather, or is it really Delta's fault?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Yeah, it was just Delta's fault for sure. It's a balmy 75 degrees over here in South Florida, Southwest Florida. So it's some people are actually in very light sweaters. So go figure.
It's freezing. It's so freezing down there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was very cold this morning.
I wish you were here with us. I know we FaceTimed you last night,
too.
But I wanted to have both you and Donna on here because ever since I was saying like Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda, you've seen their memes on social media, and they're talking about the importance of female friendships and how probably we wouldn't be where we are today if you really think about it without them. And all 3 of us, I mean, we've been together for, I don't even want to say the amount of years, but it's been multiple decades. And our lives are so different. And so I just want to kind of pay homage to female friendships and making them stronger and sprinkle in some sports because we're all kind of touched by the sports world in one way or the other here. So I just want to say, out of the group of the 3 right here, I'm the only one who's married to my job and no kids. I used to have a dog. He used to count, Jim. My dog counted.
Dogs count.
Dogs counted, but I don't even have a dog.
My dogs count. They tell me all the time.
How many do you have now? 2? 2 dogs. Yeah. Okay. So I just, it is possible to have totally different lives and still be super tight friends and learn from it. And so, Donna, I'm going to start with you. I think out of the group of us, did you and Sarah get married at the same year, or were you were first, weren't you, when you married Bruce?
We actually did marry the same year. I was November and Sarah and Jean were December. So yeah, we gosh, that's been a while.
And how many years have you and Bruce been married?
31.
31 years. That's a long time. We've known each other from the womb, actually. So, and so, background on Donna is Donna has 3 amazing boys, and I love that. And all of them are just so interesting. And you have such a household that was kind of crazy growing up and uber competitive. I mean, all 3 of your boys played basketball. 2 of your guys are now in the NBA. Your youngest son, Will, is grad school and also working. How have they made you a better mom, do you think, and maybe even a better friend to your girlfriends? having boys?
It's a great question. A tough question. Yeah. I think having boys teaches you a little bit about simplicity. There's no drama. They don't hold grudges. And life just moves on, especially when they were little. Have a ball, go out and play. They might get in a fight. It's over. They don't hold that. Women tend to
hold
things.
On.
Yeah, we hold on to things a little longer. So they joke about that. They're like, you're not allowed to show emotion in the house with 4 men. And if you do, sometimes it takes them aback. So honestly, I think really life is simple with guys. It really is. And that's made me a calmer, better mom.
And you were always calm, right, Sarah? Donna's always been the calm one out of the group.
Funny, so many of you guys always thought I would be a boy mom, right? A boy mom. I'm a boy mom.
You are a boy mom.
It's just the way it worked.
Well, Sarah also has 3 kids, and one is a girl. So we have Madison into the group, and Sarah, and I hope you don't mind that I'm sharing this, but I've loved you for eons, but what you and your family have gone through with your youngest son this year, her youngest son, Matthew, who is now a senior in high school, is now on the other side of battling, I'm getting all emotional here, brain cancer. And so to have 2 boys, right? 2 rough and tumble boys, and Madison, who is a strong-willed young woman. What lesson as a mom and as a family have you guys gone through to see Matthew now come out on the other side? You're sending us pictures that today he has hair, he's got eyebrows again, and he's thriving. Yeah. How has that affected your household?
Well, I always thought that we had a pretty close family, and we're very blessed. It's just the 5 of us, immediate family, but I have brothers and a sister, and there's 13 cousins. And so we've always had a very close, extended family. But the one thing that Matthew's diagnosis back in January taught us is that life can just change in just the blink of an eye, and to really appreciate everything that you have, because you may not have it the next day. And his life literally changed with, just a few words from a doctor. And it'll never be the same, but it'll be better. And the one thing that we learned through this whole process and a very long year is that family is everything. And the way our older children just helped through everything that he was going through, and how they coordinated their schedules to be here for him before every round of chemotherapy, and the way his cousin stepped up, and that just, it was wonderful.
Yeah. And people don't know that you have a son that's in New York City, a daughter that's in San Diego, and you're in Florida. So to coordinate that, some people are like, oh, okay, that's nice that they showed up. No, that was like a yeoman's effort, right? That must be impressive to you as a mom.
Yeah, it was. And, there's a big age gap. Matthew was our very surprising blessing. There's a big age gap between Michael, who's our oldest, and Matthew. There's like 10 years. And between Madison and Matthew, there's 8.5. So they are on their own. We joke that they've been off our payroll for a long time. And they have very busy lives, great jobs, and very busy schedules. And they coordinated on their own so that before Matthew would go in for a round of chemo, they would be here the week before, so that they could just do fun things, because his round of chemo was a 4-week round. Mm-hmm. So the last week of that 4-week period, he was at his very best, but he was also starting to dread what was about to come again. Mm. So they would just come home to make sure that they would cheer him up and do fun things with him, and just get him ready for what was to come. And that was wonderful. And, he's the youngest of the 13 grandchildren. And so he's always been kind of like, chasing the older boys. And now that he's 18, he was about the same. He's just had a lot more in common with his cousins, especially his male cousins, and they all stepped up. I mean, there's one of my nephews that still, he has a job and everything. He would come home and still play with him every day, PS5, just to just talk smack and just be competitive and give him something to think about other than everything that he was going through. So this whole experience has been difficult, but also a blessing in disguise in some ways, because we always thought, Matthew is so much younger and we always worry what's going to happen. We were older when we had him. And now I know I don't have to ever worry about this because we have a great supportive family. And all of you, see, going back to the friendships, I mean, there was not a day that I didn't get home and there was a package from someone in the mail, just sending him stuff. And a lot of it is just my friends, just letting me know that they were there for me and letting him know that they had him. And that I just can't even tell you what that meant to me. So for all your listeners, I mean, when Dawn is just calling my older son to find out what kind of, candy Matthew likes, and there's like 10 pounds of candy that come in the mail. And he ate it all, by the way. So it was just fun. Or when Donna knows that there's, he loves pizza, so I didn't have to cook. So the pizza was delivered that evening so that he could eat something he loved. And I didn't have to worry about one more thing that I needed to do. So those things, I just will never forget that. And neither will he or the rest of my family for that matter. So that's a blessing.
And what I love when you bring out the friendship part, and especially for women, and I said we're sprinkling sports. There's a fourth member of our posse, Martha Hull, who lives in Connecticut, but also New York is basically her backyard. So when Donna's son Cam was playing for UConn before they won the national championship, it's hard to explain. Like, I don't have kids, but I feel like I have kids because of the three of you. And so I feel included. Like, I do feel like the Auntie Dawn, right? So that's why I can send like all the sugar and hype up your kids. So I have no problem with that. But, but we went to New York City and we were all there, and your kids were there, and we got to celebrate Cam and Donna. How did that feel? So, your oldest son, Pat, had already been the lacrosse star, and then he decided he was going to Northwestern to play his grad year of basketball, right? Because my dream is to play D1 basketball for a year. Me, Syra, Martha, we all went to Chicago to kind of support him doing that. And then to, have Cam, who's kind of following in his footsteps. Those are big shoes to fill, to see your brother go on then to play in Europe and now the NBA. When we all came into New York, you just had this look on your face, like, my friends are my family, and my friends' kids are here, and they're friends with my friends. So the importance of keeping your kids competitive also means that structure of support, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It wouldn't have been the same without friends.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been the same not to be able to share that with you guys. So, I remember Syra. Do you remember this, Syra, when we were in Boston and you weren't going to stay for that second game, remember? And you were like, why am I not staying? And I was like, oh, you have to stay. Number one, I'm superstitious, and we won the first game and you were here. Number two, it just wouldn't have been the same not sharing that with you. And I feel like the kids our youngest son was there with his girlfriend. He got to know you guys a little bit better through those trips, and staying with John O'Brien in New York and just crashing at our friends' pads and just making that all happen so that we could be there for Cam. And it was super special. Those are incredible memories. And our oldest son is getting married, to go full circle, and making those lists. I was trying to explain that to them, I cannot not have my friends there. And they completely got that. And you guys are a part of their lives,
Yeah,
and
where maybe our
feel,
generation of parents just started to get it. We get it now, right?
Yeah.
And your kids get it.
They do. They do. They see how special those friendships are.
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny that you should say that, Donna, because one thing for your listeners, Dawn, but we have been friends for all these decades, but
Yes.
none of us have ever lived in the same state,
Right?
ever.
No.
We've never lived in the same state, but we have made a point of staying close and being there for each other and each other's like big moments and kids' moments.
Mhm.
And my oldest son is going to be heading the same direction as your oldest, Patrick, Donna. And we talk about, wedding lists and plans and everything. And it was really funny because he has been with his girlfriend for a long time. And so she has gotten to know all of you very well. And when we were talking about, venues and places to have the wedding and how big the weddings are, because she comes from a huge family as well. I said, I have to include we have a big family, but we have friends that are like family. And she said, I know, and I know all of them. And of course we couldn't do it without them. So it's just, this friendships, it just goes on and people know it. And I love that our kids experience it and they want something like that. They talk about, going to, Matthew talk about college and he says he wants to go somewhere where he makes friendships like what we have. They want to have that too. And that's a blessing.
Indeed.
There's no good time to interrupt this conversation, but I'm going to interrupt the conversation.
Come on
take,
in.
We'll
Come
take
on
care
in.
of the business of the business. We are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio. This is part of TalkNorth.com. Please check out all the shows at TalkNorth.com. We have the best lineup in town. We're also doing some of our shows on YouTube, including John Krasinski Show, the Viking Update Show, and Randy Shaver's High School Sports Show. Check them all out. We do appreciate it. We are here because people listen and because our advertisers have been so good to us. So let's thank Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. And let's also thank just a great Minnesota company, Minnesota Masonic Charities.
Today, I want to talk a little bit about the Minnesota Masonic Charities. When you think about the Masons, I get it. You think about the funny hats, those pancake breakfasts, which are phenomenal. My dear friend John Schweitz and I have chatted about this, and it's so much more than that. They've got the Masonic home over in Bloomington. They've got the hospital for the children over at the U of M. They are the largest fraternal organization in terms of charitable needs in our country, and they deserve a ton of recognition. So thank you, Minnesota Masonic Charities, for all you do and for supporting us over here at Talk North, and a special thanks to my good friend, John Schweitz.
And back to Dawn.
Well, Jim, I told you you're going to learn something. So one thing I think I want to give you your flowers on, some men can't handle strong women. They can't, right? And that's okay. I've learned that, I have some
It's actually
guy
not
friend,
okay, but
well,
you're being
thank
nice.
you. But you, and I know your wife, and she's smart and she's strong and she's sassy. And why I wanted to get my girls on here is their daughter, Madison. I know she's the only girl of the group out of all of you, all of your kids.
Yeah.
But my friends and your wife, we're strong. I mean, we are big personalities, all of us, and we make it work. But the boys, specifically Syra's, Donna's, and Martha's, they get their sass and their competition. Your husbands might disagree. I know they both played sports, you guys, but I have seen the competition and the competitive nature from you guys. And so Donna, I know that Bruce jokes around like in our house, we couldn't even play checkers without having an argument. And I have seen you play tennis and basketball, and I have seen you be competitive. They got that streak from you. So
Thanks, Dawn.
you are so welcome. So, but I know that your boys like to kind of like open it up with colorful language and stuff. So it's so funny for me to see, that you're competitive and you're feisty. And you also have to be a mom, be like, I really don't like when he swears like that. Like, how is that didactic of like the competition? And yes, you've made them to be like that. And then you kind of have to be like the mom too at the same time.
You know what? That is difficult. I used to say that to Bruce, I don't know where they get that from. Jokingly. We both have a little bit of that in us. And I do think yes, as a mother, you want to temper a bit of the bad language, but Bruce would often say to me, you can't have it both ways, Donna. They have that fiery streak. They have that competitive nature. It kind of comes with the territory. So yes, I mean, I definitely still mother them.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Pat, really? Did you have to say that? The other night after the big Am I allowed to say it?
Say
Sure.
it. Just say it. Do it.
Mother effer.
Yeah.
You know, that one that came flying out. I was like, dude, did you have to say that? And he's like, honestly, Mom, when I am in that moment, I don't even know what I'm saying. Like it's so intense and I'm so into it.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know what's coming out of my mouth. Well, everybody else knows.
Yeah. And
Thanks
for
for
those
sharing
listeners, like, well, I'm not tracking. So Pat plays for the Golden State Warriors, and he's a fiery guy. And that play, when he did that, I got so many texts from people just saying, like, I love this dude. Oh my gosh, like, who does he get his language from? And I'm like,
somebody did. I read that. Were Pat and Cam Spencer raised by wolves? And I was like, that is so not funny. I mean, to a mother, that's so not funny. No, they weren't
That
raised
is
by
really
it
wolves.
is funny though.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. I mean, they are fiery and sometimes I still do talk to them about it. But again, I do think in the passion of the moment, in the game, in the moment, you're just going to get what you're going to get. And yeah.
Well, and Sarah, you are a spicy Chiquita. So we can talk up blue streaks too. And your daughter, Madison, she has that streak and I love that. And just to be smart and sassy and hold her own around two boys. I mean, I just know that growing up because I had four brothers, right? And you need that to survive.
Right.
But you also say, like, listen, your oldest son, just for contextual sense for people, is now an agent for creative artist agencies.
Oh,
so
wow.
he's dealing with athletes all the time. And Formula One was one of his big things. You have Matthew, who's like, I'm going to kick cancer's butt. And you have Madison, who's like, I'm going to blow this popsicle stand and make a great career for myself in San Diego. And she is gorgeous. She could be a model. And I love Jean, but your husband, Jean, was a former college football player. But I always laugh and I go, she is the firecracker. Like Jean is the, calm, but I'm sure he gets mad. I've never seen him mad. So like that fire and that will, like, I mean, when Michael said, I'm going to start in the mailroom of CAA, I don't care. I'm going to work my way up. And people are like, oh, whatever, dude. And he did. He started in the mailroom, right? And now he's worked his way up. I mean,
he actually started answering phones. He actually was in reception. He got promoted within 3 months.
To the mailroom?
He started in reception. He got promoted to the mailroom. And it was like a huge deal. And all I kept thinking was, all the thousands of dollars that we have paid for college for him to graduate and start in the reception, answering phones.
That's how my parents felt.
But he's always had this confidence about him and he's such a hard worker. And so, there was really no doubt in his mind. And interestingly enough, that is the job my husband thought he would be great at. And he was right. But what are the odds of somebody making it like that? And somebody that really does not have any connection to that business. There's a lot, it's just always about who you know and people that you know. So he did. But I mean, when it comes to Madison, she's just something else. She is a force to be reckoned with. And she's always been like that. I will say that. She's always been very strong-willed. And I just remember my mom, used to tell me that for nowadays in the world that we live in, you want to raise a strong woman, a strong daughter. And she said, it'll be easier as she gets older. It's going to be very difficult to parent her. I'll never forget that. She goes, it'll be hard to parent her, but it'll be well worth it because you do not want someone that will sit in the sidelines and just let life happen to her. And so that I always remember. And it is easier as she has gotten older. She's 26 now and she's doing great. She has definitely been able to hold her own in this family, and she is doing great, both career-wise and personally. And I couldn't be prouder. And but yeah, I mean, I don't know about Gene not getting mad, but he is definitely a calmer, more rational voice in the craziness of my household. I am a little bit more emotional, but we balance each other out. So I think that's what makes it a good marriage, as good as anybody else's, I guess. But, so it is what it is. It's just the dynamics in the household. Just very, very fortunate to have it.
What I do love is, well, I'll see Michael like texting pictures of, I'm on the front row of U.S. Open. And I'm like, well, that's a long,
I know.
That's a long way from reception in the mailroom, right? And then, Donna's sons will send their signed jersey because Cam plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. Will, her youngest son was playing basketball at Hood College, and then Patrick. I mean, they'll send jerseys to Matthew when he had his brain tumor, and then our other friend Martha. I mean, Martha came from a sports family. Her dad is Dennis Hall, played in the NHL. Her uncle's Bobby. So, and she is not sportsy at all. Like, she handled that like a champ. She's like, nope. And her sons are amazing. Just Henry and Teddy are just bright, beautiful. It's just well-spoken. Henry's getting into acting. Teddy wants to be an entrepreneur. When I see my friends just kind of, that's why I say sports is always sprinkled in, because I had a chance to sit down and actually interview Bobby Hull. And I was like, well, I know your niece. And he's like, what? And he's like, those other people can wait. It was like we call it a car wash, but it was one of those where, the media people, the person stays in the room, but the media changes. It was one of those junkets. And I was like, I only had 10 minutes. He's like, oh, no, we're taking more. We're going to take more. And I was like, Martha, I got to talk, and she's like, yeah, he's my uncle. Like, I know, but he's Bobby Hull. I never met him before. Like, it was like a thrill for me. I kind of geeked out. But when and Donna, your dad played for the Yankees.
Well, farm team.
Team. But still, when I see how, I just say sports has changed my life, but it's also kind of been the thread that has still woven everything together. And at the center of it all are my girlfriends. Like, it's such a weird world. When I talk about my friend Ellen Hughes, who has got her 3 sons in the NHL. I know her when she was Ellen Weinberg, and now it's Hughes-a-Palooza in the NHL. Those are her 3 sons. And she was a firecracker who taught them how to skate. I just wanted to give women, whether you decide to have a career in sports or whether you're going to be surrounded by it with your family and your sons or your husbands, it all for me always comes back to that thread of competition in sports, but also the friendship that it can just it coexists in this like beautiful, weird thing. Like when I was asking you guys to be on the podcast, like, well, what do you mean? We're talking sports and friendship and whatever. I go, for me, it's all the same. And I also think that there's so many strong women that raise these incredible athletes, male and female. I had my friend Todd and his wife Nikki on, and their daughter Elle was drafted in the PWHL. So now I'm talking about their daughters playing pro sports. So I just say, wow. And we're not just talking like random friends. These are my core friends, like my core friends that I will have and have had for my entire life. And our lives are so different, but you guys still get me. And maybe that is the thread of sports,
with a passion for it.
Yeah. And also like my life, when I said I get my house ready every 3 years because I live by a contract, so when I was talking to your sons, like they don't know what's going to happen if their contract is up. And I'm like, that's how I live my life every 3 years. I'm like, what? I go, yeah. I've been in Minnesota 20 years, but I'm thinking I'm selling my house every 2 to 3. You have to get it ready. Like, it's just a different mindset. And I do have some friends that don't get it. They don't get that you guys are flying in to visit me on a Tuesday, Wednesday, because that is the only days I have off. And I do my podcast on Tuesdays. So only days I have off during football. I can't fly out. I can't go on holidays. I can't go on Christmas. And I have seen throughout my life so many friendships drop off, not because we had a fight, not because we didn't get along, but because, life is busy. And Syra, you mentioned it, those sacrifices that I think all of us have made throughout the years to show up for each other. And some years are busy and we can't get there. But I just think as we get older too, it means so much. I mean, we're not Jane Fonda old and Lily Tomlin old, but I don't know if I could get through life without, my family is wonderful and I love them and my brothers know that, but I could not get through life and do my career without my girlfriends. I think that that's just something that really needs to be celebrated. And Syra, you brought it up that it takes a lot sometimes to have to show up, not only for your own job and your family, but for your friends as well. Don't you think? And now we're seeing like the fruits of the labor.
Yeah. Yeah. I I just have to recognize, we have been very fortunate. We do make an effort, and that's everybody. We have all made an effort, but um, I know I can probably speak for Donna as well. But we married great, supportive husbands who are very smart and know that we're better wives and happier wives when we get to see our girlfriends. So there's never been a time when I said to my husband, there's a girls trip, and he has said, no, you can't go because of this or that. He, on the other hand, he flips it and just, if I think I may not be able to go for whatever reason, he figures out a way to help so that I can go. So last night when I had to cancel the trip, I was just so sad and I had tears in my eyes. And my youngest came over and gave me a hug, and he knew what it meant. And I was like, oh, it's only a few days. I'll see them again. And he goes, yes, but I know this is your time. You always love spending time with the girls. And, so it's just, they recognize it. And I think it's, I have to give my husband props for this one. Not only does he, make sure that I can get to where I need to be so that I can see you guys as often as I possibly can. But also he has made it that it's important. Like he's always told the kids that it's important for me to spend time with you all. And that's a blessing as well, because not everybody's like that. And so, it's just, it's an effort for the whole family to make me get to where I need to be to see you guys and spend some time with you guys, because it really is, it just changes your life for the better. It just really recharges me. And after I see you guys, I just have such, I'm just happy. It lasts for a long time until I got to see it
right?
again.
It's good for the soul. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't we always feel like that after a trip together? I just come home, I have such a smile on my face, and we talk about it for a long time, and we show the pictures. And, sometimes I know after our last trip to Canada, when we, for Martha's house, I came home and my husband, I think Donna, Bruce said the same thing. They were like, okay, next time we got to go ourselves.
I was going to
That
say,
too much
yeah,
fun.
What did I
husbands gotta
miss?
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. And our kids know each other and our husbands know each other, and they hang out when when we're all together. They hang out. They don't need us to be there refereeing. They just get along just fine. It's a blessing.
Well, I remember it's just kind of cool where there's this guy who I just adore that works for the Vikings, Terrell Barnes. He's doing everything for them, equipment. He's running around. If you see some guy running and doing something for the Vikings during the game and before the game, it's like that's Terrell. So he went to Rutgers. And so when your son Cam, Donna, went to Rutgers, at one point he comes over and he kind of goes, you never told me that Cam Spencer's your nephew? And I go, what? He goes, I went back to Rutgers. And he was like, hey, you're with the Vikings. Do you know my Aunt Dawn? And I go, oh, kid's got to say aunt. He can't say aunt. And so we started joking. I go, yeah. And I go, yeah. He goes, oh my God, he's the man. He's the man. So just knowing that your kids call you family, right? And so, yes, I always said it's my nephew, Pat, and, my nephew, Cam, my nephew, Will, my niece, blah, 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 my nephew, this. And I just go on and on about it. But the one thing I have to ask, because not being a mom, and this goes for you too, Sire, but I'm going to ask Donna first. How do you keep your kids that are so competitive from killing themselves? Like when they're fighting, like I think Cam said something the other day about or maybe it was Pat, we just beat the blank out of each other, like it comes from growing up. Like when you're the mom, like you want your kids to be successful. You want them to be great in sports or great in their profession. But, I don't know. Like I would not be a disciplinarian. I'd be laughing in the other room. Like,
oh, you wouldn't be laughing. No. And I know we scared away quite a few friends in the neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
when they would go at it, they would go at it. It
was bad.
Yeah. When they were younger. It's funny now that never happens. Yeah. Now I think they've matured way past that. And I'm sure that they'll, they argue or they get mad at a game, like they're playing a video game or something, but it's nothing. I mean, when they were younger, there were some, driveway brawls
Wow.
And I didn't love that. I did not love that aspect of it. And I think, you had to.
How did you
I had to
discipline
mother.
them?
I had to mother.
Right. But
Tough girl. I'd take him down. No, I'm just kidding.
Elbow drop.
elbow drop. Told you she's feisty.
There were many times. I know that we had some neighbors that saw probably a side of me that they will never forget.
Yeah.
Occasionally you did. You had to
Yeah.
just step in and stop the fight, or, and it's physical with guys. I think especially
Yeah.
as they get older and that intense competition is a part of who they are. You did see that, that fiery side, not so much with our youngest. He did have that fiery side, but he didn't enjoy that either. He didn't like that part of,
Yeah.
the aspect of their
Of the
competitiveness.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Competitiveness, but he learned to deal with it. And one of the funniest stories I think I've ever told, he told the youngest, when you go to like an amusement park like Hershey Park, they have like you have to be a Twizzler to ride this ride. You have to be a Reese's to ride that ride. And so, Pat was always the one that'd be like, I'm going to stand on my tiptoes and I'm going to be that Reese's so I can ride the biggest ride. And Cam was always just whatever Pat did I was going to follow and I was going to do. And he was always kind of a bigger kid. So life took him down that path where he could ride that Twizzler ride way earlier probably than the youngest one told us that when he would get in line and he wasn't tall enough to ride the big ride, that the brothers were like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he'd be like, can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And inside he was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not a Twizzler. You know what I mean? Like that's the life he lived. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's just funny. It's just the nature of the beast. I think some of it's innate, some of it's taught. And to go back full circle as being a mom, I do think like you teach your children what you love. And so you don't do it like knowingly. Sometimes you don't realize that that's what you're doing. But like I loved basketball. So when Patrick was little, we would just sit outside and shoot baskets. Like that's what we would do. And so I think you do that without knowing that you're doing it. You give them
The love.
the passion for the sports.
Yeah.
Whatever sport it might be.
Oh my goodness. One of my funny stories, and I don't know if I've shared this before, I might have when we had Bruce on the show, but Cam, for some reason, loved Percy Harvin when he was little. Loved Percy Harvin on the Vikings.
Because he never met him.
He was a big Vikings fan. You're right.
He was a huge
Yeah.
Vikings fan.
Yeah.
So you said, hey, Dawn, for Christmas, I can't find a Percy Harvin jersey. Like this before you could buy a lot of things online, right? Can't find one anywhere. I've looked it up. There's a place at the Mall of America called the Vikings Locker Room. Can you go to the Vikings Locker Room and buy this for me so I can wrap it up and give it to him for Christmas? And I remember, sure, like how hard can it be, right? For those who don't know me, I had to turn in my girl card because I am horrible at malls. I'm terrible. I was raised with 4 boys. If I want to go get something, I make a plan. I have an exit strategy. I hunt down what I want. I kill it and I drag it out and I leave, right? Like I am not like, I'm not going to go foraging. And like, no, like that's hell for me, right? Like if I don't have to find something, I can go look around a mall. But if I have to get something and I'm on the lookout for it, if I don't know what I'm doing, it's hell. So that was before they had the scan digital to show you where you were. So it was just like, you are here with a little sticker, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm here. Where's the Vikings thing? Where's the Vikings locker room? And I'm like, there. I'm like, oh, okay. I got lost. It took me 2 hours in the Mall of America to find the Vikings locker room. Finally hunted down, killed that jersey, brought it home, mailed it to you, right? And I just said, you know what? I could have driven to the real Vikings locker room, talked to the real Percy Harvin, paid him for a real jersey, and which I couldn't do because it would be a violation of my credential. However, I could have done that in a fraction of the time. And so I'm like, oh my God, I have been raised by wolves.
I believe he still has that jersey.
Yes,
So,
as he
thank
should.
you very much.
Thank you, Cam. But it's just kind of interesting, like the competitive streaks that come out, and I see that in Matthew Syra. Like, I'm going to beat this cancer. I'm going to still take all my classes. He was still taking school. I've seen it in Madison. Like, I'm going to move to San Diego, and I'm going to work for this clinic, and I'm going to bring him into the digital world. This is what I'm going to do. And then of course, Michael going from I didn't even know that the mailroom was a promotion, like starting in the lowest and just being like, no, and I'm going to do that. And congrats to Michael, who just most recently got a promotion and a raise.
Woohoo. Woohoo.
Just that
Yeah.
scrappiness. And I know it all comes from, I mean, the men too, but I just think we're seeing it now in the WNBA and women's sports and everything. I just think that fiery competitive spirit that women have, it can trickle down. And next thing you know, your kids are swearing on national TV. Your
So
kids are getting
proud
front row
moment.
seats to the U.S. Open. Life comes full circle, but they're also very appreciative of the female strength and bond. And I've noticed that. And I think that that's kind of cool. I think that's cool. And just like I wouldn't want any guys that I know not to have guy friends. Like that's major red flag. If
Yeah.
hey, do you want to go
Yeah.
do something with your guy friends? No. Like, ooh, that's
They-
Alex is laughing, right? It's a red flag. It's a red flag. I'm sorry. It's a hot take.
Yeah. I don't know. It's our household is very competitive, but in a different way than Donna's. Donna is like hands down the Spencer clan. They just have it down pat. And we completely we just take full credit for it. The kids are always talking about how, their cousins and all this stuff.
Mhm.
It's like I have had parents of Matthew's friends come over and they didn't realize the connection. And then they're just calling, asking me to ask Donna for advice on their one kid that wants to play basketball in college and, all that stuff. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just about hard work. I think we all come from households in which hard work was valued and appreciated and made a priority. And I think, obviously when you work hard and you do the right thing, more than likely you're going to be successful. And I think our kids, we were raised in a household where our parents worked really hard for everything that they had. And we were taught the value of doing that and behaving in such a way. And we married people and surround ourselves with people that feel the same way. And therefore, we're teaching our kids that. So with that comes competition because, when you have a third child looking for colleges, he's not thinking about the fact that he had cancer and he technically has a pass and he can skip a year. He's just thinking about where can I go and what can be the most competitive environment in which I can be so that I can be the most successful of all these siblings that have been killing it in the world. I want to do just as well, if not better. So I think that is just because of the way we raised them, but it's because of the way we were raised. And I think you always find people that are, like-minded to you and that had very similar upbringings. I've said this 1,000 times. George Roby, Donna's dad, was just like my dad. I mean, it reminds me every time I saw him, I thought about my dad and vice versa. And it wasn't just me. My husband felt the same way. Martha Roby is the same way with my mom, just this fiery running around doing everything. So I think we were very fortunate to end up in the same college and we were raised very similarly and we had families that valued the same things. And then we're raising our families in the same way and surrounding ourselves with people that just felt the same way. And how fortunate is that? They're our kids now. The next generation is feeling the same way and doing the same thing because I see them, their friendships, everything is very similar to what we experienced at that age. And, if they end up halfway where we are, they would just be the luckiest, men and women because they're going to have great lives. With great friendships. You just can't do that without that kind of support. I'm just very blessed.
Well, I'm going to wrap it kind of with the story. I'm waiting for you guys and your families to get to the point where I know, your kids can imbibe maybe an adult beverage now. They might have even before they were absolutely allowed to.
They all.
But when in my family, when we were allowed to sit around with our parents and actually have a cocktail, as adults, my brothers start telling the stories, and when you're the only girl and you have 4 brothers and the stories come out and my brother was telling some stories and it always end up, and she didn't cry. right?
And she didn't.
And my mom's face is horrified. Like they're saying like, oh yeah, remember when we zip tied her to the front of the 10-speed? That's what they used to call those bikes. And then we stopped short and it would like cut her wrist. Yeah, but she didn't cry. And my mom's like, what? And then she'd be like, why didn't you tell me any of this stuff? I go, I tried. Like I came in and you were like, you're going to play with the boys. You're going to learn how to take it. And you'd put alcohol on my cuts and stick me back outside. And I go, and if I dared cry, I didn't really cry, or if I looked like I was going to, I would be mocked and mimicked, right? I'm like, it's just having brothers, right? It was not anything like super forceful. But, or we would have a dinner table. My mom went back to work when I was in high school and we did a game show. They'd be like, what is the starting rotation for the 1975 Red Sox? And if I get any wrong, because I didn't know the 75 Red Sox, I go, I don't know, this is before they go, take away her mashed potatoes. And another brother would swoop in. And I'm like, my mom goes, what? No wonder you were so skinny. I go, hey, but look at my job I got now, right? I know my sports to eat. So I'm looking forward to just to put a capper on this, for those stories around your own dinner tables where they tell the real horror stories, not the fights that you had to break up in the driving or anything like that, or what Maddie might tell you guys. But it all comes down to having strong women being able to be that nowadays. And for me, it always kind of crosses over into the sports world. So I just wanted to give you guys our own version of that. So thank you very much. And for showing up for me for my birthday. So I really appreciate it.
I was just going to say that. Happy birthday to you, my friend.
Oh, my thank you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
28 again.
And holding.
Until I'm 100.
And looking amazing.
Yeah. You guys will just have to keep count on the calculator to get me to 100 because I'll be 28 forever. So. Love you guys.
Love you too, honey.
Love you. Thank you.